Hello and welcome. Yes, I'm back for a little bit. How are you all? Hope you're all doing well. I hope everything's working. I haven't touched my computer for years and years and years. I was sick most of last week, and then weekend I was at a conference. I think this is the first time I've touched my computer since Friday. So there you go. Hello, Heather Christine. How are you? I'm doing all right. So there is so much. There has been so much happen while I plan to create while I've been living life. How dare I live life and I miss everything, eh? But we have got a new court date scheduled. Hello, Mama Kay. And so I want to have a look at what this could mean. I mean, we don't know because there is nothing. There's nothing. So here is all that we've got on here is an upcoming hearing on the 25th of the 11th at 1:30. Now I've scrolled down here. There has been nothing that I can see in the case events, and so if anything is there, I will just but then turn that off and we'll catch up later. Because thank you, Peter. And then we've got this. And then it says upcoming hearings 1:30, and it says remote courtroom G. So I am wondering whether it's going to be a remote listing rather than, so it says remote because it says location courtroom. Okay. Neither party has filed anything that costs money at this point. So what does a summary judgment mean? So there's a couple of things that could happen. So let me try and because what we're going to do, we also have to look at the Minnesota proceedings. So a summary you can make a summary judgment. Either party can file a summary judgment and it would need to show. You can get a summary judgment if you can show that the other party has no reasonable prospect of succeeding. So you can do that. And it's really a good way to try and save time with the court, because what you're doing is you're saying to the court, let's not waste time. They haven't satisfied the requirements, and so therefore so under the summary judge, so we need to look at what Minnesota says for summary judgments, and we have to look at the law. As I say, we've got nothing, so it's really just we're just all speculating. Under Minnesota law, what is the standard for summary judgment when the party is the moving party? All right. So it essentially means no genuine issues. Okay, so this is from the Minnesota rules. So summary judgment is only appropriate when pleadings, depositions, answers to interrogatories, and admissions on file, together with the affidavits, if any, show that there is no genuine issue as to any material effect, and that either party is either party is entitled to judgment as a matter of law, and the moving party has the burden. So the moving party is the I think the moving party is the one who is making the motion. So the moving party is the one making the motion. Okay, so when the party making the motion feels that there is no genuine for success. In addition, when the moving party is the plaintiff, who also has the ultimate burden of proof on the merits, it may succeed on the motion if it produces credible evidence using material specified in 56C that would entitle it to be directed verdict if not controverted at trial. In other words, to prevail on the summary judgment motion, the moving plaintiff must submit evidence to support or at least create a fact in question with respect to every element on a prima facie case. In applying this standard, the evidence is viewed in the light of the most favourable to the non-moving party, who is given the benefit of all reasonable inferences. Okay, so now we go to Minnesota statute. So a party may move for a summary judgment identifying each claim or defence or each part of the claim or defence on the summary judgment which is sought. So at the moment, we don't know who's applied. We don't know who's made it. It could quite be there's another couple of issues that they could do, and I have got a couple of ideas as to it could necessarily be the court too. The court shall grant summary judgment if the movement shows there is no genuine issue as to any material fact and that the movement is entitled to judgment as a matter of law. The court shall state on the record a written decision the reasons for granting or denying the motion. So it says that there's rules there about serving it. Procedures. A party asserting that there's no genuine issue as to any material fact must support the assertion by citing to particular parts of material in the record, including depositions, documents electronically stored, affidavits, stipulations, admissions, interrogatories, materials, or showing that the materials cited do not establish the absence or presence of a genuine issue for trial, and that an adverse party cannot produce admissible evidence to support the fact. Objection that the fact is not supported by admissible evidence. A party may object to the material cited to support or dispute. The court needs to consider only the cited materials, but it may consider other materials off the record. And it talks about affidavits. Now, when it's a non-movement, when it's filed, if non-movement shows by affidavit, it cannot present facts essentially to justify its opposition. The court may defer, considering the motion, or deny, allow time, or other issues. If they support to address a fact, they can be given opportunity to support it, consider undisputed facts for the purpose of the motion, grant a judgment if the motion and supporting materials are undisputed, and any other issues. Then there were some amendments here. If satisfied an affidavit was submitted under bad faith, the court, after notice and reasonable time to respond, may order submitting party to pay the other party. Look, possibly. There's other reasons for a summary judgment as well. Hello, Bella Marie. Sometimes they do what they do. They have to, where there are disputed facts, they may need to have the court decide on facts to be able to make that decision. Now, just remember, I'm a law student, so you need to also do your own research. But look, summary judgments are generally also only granted at the end of trial, at normal. Usually it's at the end of court cases. But here's what I'm thinking. There are two issues that are at play here, two issues that they disagree on. One is, and they both have huge bearing on the cases. One is the idea of Katie Joyce, in her defense. She says that she's a journalist. Now, if she's a journalist, then we get into the whole journalistic credibility. For her, it's about protecting sources. For her, it's about a whole pile of other things. But see, then if she's declared a journalist, then we get into journalistic ethics and journalistic standards, and we get into another kettle of fish. We know that in one of the decisions made by this judge, that she said that whether she was a journalist or not had yet been tested in the court. A summary judgment could be made. A judgment could be made to say the court holds that Katie Joy Paulson, without a crystal ball, is a journalist and a journalistic outlet, and therefore, all right? That then changes the way you approach the case. The other issue that is in contention is the public figures. And Miranda and James, we could say, yes, the public figures. The one that is in question, and the one that is Robert Shin. Now the court could say the court could say that he's not a public figure and therefore does not uphold the public figure status, then that has to change the way that Katie defends it. But look, it's essentially correct. That's like saying Linda Reynolds was a sympathetic boss, but she's not BH's therapist. Correct. But essentially, it's just about it's just a mini judgment in the. So we don't know exactly what we're going to get. Or KJ is not a journalist and she must handle. Well, that's the thing. That's why, and usually, sometimes they use summary judgments. If you look at court cases, sometimes you have mini decisions, and it's really just a mini decision within a major court case, and it's really just to solve. Often, it's to solve those little arguments in the middle, because otherwise, they'll be arguing whether they'll be arguing to and fro, whether she's a journalist, whether she's not a journalist, whether she's a public figure or not. They could argue this until the return of Jesus, for example, and Jesus could come and they're still arguing over whether she's a journalist or not, and the case still could be going. And so therefore, all of these speed up. It would actually speed up the case, because then they know what they're dealing with, because at the moment it's the scope's wide. As I say, that's just my opinion. But generally, the moving party, non-moving party, so, and I mean, if she wants to argue, I mean, if we want to talk about whether she's a journalist or not, you've only got to look at what she's done with the Gypsy Rose stuff. Now, for those of you that like reading, here is somebody on Twitter posted this, and I thank you, and I can't remember who it is off the top of my head either. I apologize. This is a law review, because we're very public official figures and controversies in Minnesota defamation law. This was, I think, you always have to look at the year. This looks like this is around 2020, so it's 4 years old. So this article talks about, in Minnesota, the plaintiff in a common law defamation claim is entitled to recover presumed damages in libel and slander per se cases. So then, look, we've got per se cases here, and that's, again, that tells us where the what journal that's from. Those rules change when the First Amendment is injected into a defamation case, when the plaintiff is a public figure or official, or is a private person involved in public controversy. See, this is why this all has to be settled. A plaintiff who is a public official or a figure must prove not only the elements of the common law defamation claim, but also the defamatory communication was a false statement of fact and proved by clear and convincing evidence that it was made with actual malice. You see, if Robert Shin is not actually a public figure, the malice element comes out, you see? See why it's really important to get a judgment on that? With actual malice, publication with knowledge of the falsity or in reckless disregard of the truth. In order to recover presumed damages, a private person involved in a matter of public concern must prove fault and actual damages in order to recover, but must prove actual malice by clear and convincing evidence. The Minnesota Supreme Court clarified the application of these standards in 2 defamation cases decided in 2019. The court held that the fault and actual damages requirements involving private persons, even if published by non-media defendants, in Gertz and Robert Welsh, applied to defamatory statements relating to public controversies involving private persons if published by non-media defendants. In McGuire versus Bowen, decided that a little more than 2 months after the last one, the court held that a public school basketball coach was not a public official for the purposes of the application of the New York Times, Co. and Sullivan actual malice standard. In so holding, the court clarified the standards adopted in 1991 for resolving public official issue. The court held that the coach was not a public figure because he was not involved in a public controversy. Now, here's also, we know that there was the 7M doco, but it was based on Shekinah Church, put under the umbrella of 7M. So did Netflix have a disregard of the truth when they did the documentary, knowing that one of their research consultants was being sued for defamation? As I said, if it was about Shekinah Church, I'd be okay with it. But anyway, so Kate Mather's defamation claim arose out of allegedly defamatory statements made by his ex-wife via Facebook. Someplace Safe is a non-profit providing services for victims of domestic violence. I don't know that it could be able to be used, but it could be used for malice because it means she's going to gender Peter. She had an agenda because she needed to get the documentary done. So I've posted this here. It's a rather so McGuire versus Boland was about a basketball coach. He was not a public figure. The defamation claim, yeah. So public controversies frequently involve government employees, but the involvement does not make employees public officials for purposes of the application. The essential question is whether the public official is in a position of significant influence on. So I don't know whether they could get him on public controversy. Public officials, a person will not warrant that absent involvement in a public controversy. A key question is whether the standard for determining whether there is a public controversy for purposes of public figure status is also relevant for defamatory stuff. So have a read of that if you're interested. Yes, well, talk about tortious interference. There was this today. Robert Chin is allegedly busy converting women into his new harem. A woman named Courtney Dry, who goes by the name of Coco Shuffles, posted about her baptism. Alongside her was mentor Miranda, Derek, and friend Kendra Willis. It would appear that Miranda and Kendra are moving up the ranks and now on board with recruiting into the alleged cult. Interestingly, Miranda Derek has allegedly denied being part of the cult or a member of the church. However, this photo must certainly suggest that Miranda is lying or could be lying in legal documents. How does that prove anything? How does that prove? Courtney Dry signed a sworn affidavit that she was not part of the church. She also claimed that the slander against Robert she negatively impacted her career. However, this photo seems to suggest that Courtney may have perjured herself in a sworn affidavit. Dearest ladies, committing perjury is a crime. Please don't get caught up in Robert's game. Hello, Will. Robert Sheen admits that Miranda is still a member in numerous records in a file, which is held in contrast to statements made by Miranda. Courtney is now an official member of the alleged cult that they aren't members in. All of this is shared for entertainment purposes and informational purposes only. Don't sue me for having an opinion. Oh, wait, be careful, ladies. Now, Coco Shuffles here. She says, girl, what? To set the record straight, your lies are getting out of hand. You need to stop bullying people for your own self-gain. I've never been to Shekinah Church and I've never met Robert. I've worked with 7M for a very short amount of time and they had to drop all of our stances because of the harassment. We all started getting online from your BS. All you're doing is reaching, trying to ruin our livelihoods. Please stop spreading lies. I'll be praying for you. Someone says she doesn't need your prayers. And with that, she says, thanks for your confirmation that you continue to lie and spread harassment. Please watch the series on Netflix. There is no harassment happening here. You are in danger. And then she tags 7M, exposing 7M and stop culting. Then it says, so you work for someone you never met. Why would you sign a contract with a boss you never met? Hello? How many people sign contracts to work for a place and has never met the boss? Then says, makes sense. Hey, who's doing the line here? So everyone's like everyone's going after her now. You also saying you left 7M in 2022, but your video stands in 2023. That's perjury, just the FUR. So look at all of this. Look at all of this. Here, look. Someone's on the gypsy train. I mean, oh, there was something I did see. Now I did hear. I did hear that she got told off for posting wedding photos by the photographer. She shared professional wedding photos of the Duggars' wedding, and allegedly she got a cease and desist. Jill Dillard shared this photo, but she did a whole video about how Jill and Jana were fighting. Now, the other thing is, she says, I'm not going to put my baby on social media. Proceeds to post the sonogram of the baby and showing the photo. A lie detector proved this wrong. Now, she talked about on here that she thought, oh, that's one big baby for 17 weeks. And she said, I thought the exact same thing. Someone says, Ryan is a big guy. So I don't know. It was a long time since I had my ultrasound stuff. Now, then we've got so and it's interesting because even when you work in the entertainment industry, you don't always meet the bosses. You meet an agent or somebody working there. So these are her reels here. I thought you all went part of Shekinah, she says. Sister Wives controversy, apparently. It gets worse, of course. I thought Isaiah was the person behind 7M. He was supposed to be the face of. Right, so this is interesting. Yes, so this says, exposing 7M shared this, her declaration. So she's put here in the blue. So we're going to start here. Comment under Without a Crystal Ball's post here. Says she's continued spending time with all the 7M dancers since 2022, including allegedly attending Bible studies and singing worship songs with Miranda and Kendra, which they posted. AMO, the timeline in her written statement is odd and it doesn't help their case at all. She learned of allegations in February, then 4 months later, in June, she joined 7M anyway. Now, again, just so because she spent time with 7M dancers means she's part of the cult. Is that what they're trying to allege here? Now, if you read this thing by Coco, she doesn't say anything about Shekinah. She talks about 7M. So if I attend a football club, does that mean that I'm a footballer? I mean, essentially that's what you're saying, right? She says here, I have personal knowledge of the facts. I respectfully submit this declaration in opposition to defendants Melanie Goldman's notice of motion. I'm a professional dancer, choreographer, and social media content creator. I began a personal relationship with 7M Films, a talent management company, in around June 2022. In around February 2022, I learned of false allegations and statements made online about Robert Shin and the 7M dancers being a cult. From about February 2022 to present, there have been ongoing campaign on social media and online by defendants in this action, falsely claiming that 7M dancers and Robert Shin are a cult. As a result of the defendant's false statements and social media posts, I have felt personally under attack as a dancer represented by 7M. Well, we've seen what's happened when she posts something. As a result of the defendant's false and defamatory actions, I've been threatened and harassed by third parties. The defendant's false statements have damaged my reputation. As a result, on or about November 2022, my personal relationship with 7M ended to prevent further harassment and damage to my reputation. So, just because you hang out with people doesn't mean that you're part of the group. Sounds like Jen. That is the whole point, Will. There was a post made, and again, there's been nothing to show that you have to be part. That being part of 7M, you have to be part of the church. There's no link there. And being part of a church, you don't have to be part of 7M. So this is why it's a really weird thing. So anyway, so we don't, as I said, we don't know who submitted the summary judgment. We don't know who submitted the summary judgment. Do you think Katie Joy would be so bold to do it after, because she thinks that Dancing with the Devil, or whatever it's called, is going to protect her? Because that's what you've got to ask or think about, whether or not. So if it was 7M, it's likely because she hasn't. But see, normally you do a default judgment if they haven't filed something. So a summary judgment's different again. So the court grants a summary judgment when there is no material issue of fact, and it's required to enter judgment and as a matter of law. Oh yeah, default judgments occur if they don't file a motion to defend. That's right. And a summary judgment is made by the court after the defence has been filed. And you can file it if you believe the other side doesn't have a prospect of success. So someone's submitted it, but we don't know who, and we don't know how, and we don't know when or where. But no, we do know when and where. But someone's filed a summary judgment. Someone's filed a summary judgment application, and that's someone's. And look, it's likely to be Katie Joy because she's going to say that there's no real prospect of success. I want to bet that it's Katie Joy. Sadly, because remember she kept saying she was going to post stuff. She kept saying that something big was happening. But it may also backfire because, as I said, the court may rule on a few things, and she may end up. I'm just having a look at Katie Joy's TikTok here. I'm just laughing here because it's quite. She started. Obviously, this is her new hangout at the moment. And she denied, she couldn't confirm or deny in her lawsuit, in her defense, what was her stuff. So here she's got Duggar fam drama and Gypsy's advocacies of lie. See? It says, oh yeah, someone says here, they do not have a public registry. The wedding was in the afternoon. So she had put her watermark on the photos that she stole, and she was told she had to take them down because if you look at her YouTube now, she's actually blurred out the video. She's had to redo it, by the way. So, which must really upset her. But it's all Gypsy on here. Yes, I heard that. I also heard, Will, that he and I don't have time to get into all of this. There's so much interesting stuff happening. That I heard that he sacked his lawyer. So yeah, who knows? So yeah. I mean, I love her titles, right? I have to give her credit. She knows how to do the Jana flees Duggar family compound and moves to Nebraska following secretive wedding. How can it be secretive when she had people there? Look what's happened. What happens with a lot of people when they get big and they go viral is that they let it all go to their head, and they stop being an average Joe, and they start thinking that they're bigger and more powerful than what they are. And I would say that that's what's happened. Hi, number one fan. Okay, I want to look at. I need to look at. I want to watch. I think she's been live on TikTok most days. There was one the other day where she showed her face, and I want to look at that one. Llama Girl has come with all the receipts, so that's the one I want to look at. We won't be on for long tonight. Hello, short order. Like KJ after. Yes. So yeah, I need to apologize. I got sick. I ended up getting gastro. My school kids gave me gastro. That was nice of them, isn't it? Just about there's 2 campuses, and just about every teacher's had at least 1 to 2 days off in the last 2 weeks. So when I said it spread, it spread. It's not the thing that you want to have spread around. But anyway, we got so, and then I forgot I actually had to go to a conference. I thought it was this weekend, and I put all these plans in place for this weekend. And then I found out it was I found out on Friday. I had to be at the conference on Friday night. Your brother rang. You had to go nick off. All right. So this was Kate. She actually showed her face on a TikTok. So, yeah, we're getting there. I'm just really tired because I've hit the ground running. I had Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and then I've worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, today is Wednesday, and then and then it's back again. Hopefully, weekend I can get some stuff done. Right, so here we go. Look at this. Look at this. This was her live.
I've seen this shit happening in June and May. I would have been like out the door then, because what they were doing was horrible. I watched.
Right. This is the first of the clip. 3 career expos in 5 days. Yeah.
Bree basically imitate the followers of Nina by almost pretending like she was an ape or a gorilla. And it felt very racist to me, the way that she was imitating Nina's followers, as though her followers are apes and gorillas. And I think it doesn't take very much for most people to understand those racial undertones there and the racism that is enabled with that. And I was like, this is so gross. I cannot believe she's doing this. And then using just a very racist like accent when she's when she's talking about Nina and doing like it. I was just horrified. And I was like,
I don't know.
Like watching
this is the first time she's shown her face on TikTok.
I'm like,
have a look here. I don't know whether Llama Girl's done this, but if this is Llama Girl, it's very clever. Because it says Llama Girl and there's a llama in the back. I have a feeling it's Llama Girl because that looks too cool to be Katie.
does Bree understand that when you start acting like you're a gorilla and you're an ape and you're talking about a black woman, that's not racist? And why, Christy, are you encouraging this woman to be your go-to person? It's really gross. And what I realized is that Bree knows absolutely nothing. When I'm listening to Bree talk, I can tell you for a fact she is being told whatever they want her to know. She is not thinking critically. She is completely ignoring the facts of the case. She is listening to their narrative, and she's using bits and pieces of information that they're providing to her and spoon feeding them. And it's gross to watch them go after a woman that's a woman of color, who's a beautiful woman, who isn't doing anything wrong by sharing her opinion on a very public story, right? Nina's talking about facts that she has found in medical records. She's talking about posts that were made publicly by Christy. She is sharing information that she's finding from sources. And she's literally just sharing, like, this is what I found. These are my opinions. And I want to be clear, like, Christy and Gypsy were trying to make me believe that Nina was the evil one, that no one should trust Nina. And I'm sure I fed into it a little bit. I even did a single post for them and was like, oh, no, Nina, you're lying. And it's like, watching them gang up on her is just so disgusting to me. Like, why aren't you guys going after the big creators that are talking about?
Yeah, don't you remember that they're supposed to have done the first coat, the base coat? I don't think they've put the top coat on yet, because I think I think there are still pictures that she has where you can still see the painter's tape over on.
About you. Why are you going after Nina? What did Nina do to you? Is it because she's a woman that's Black and that makes you feel better and you feel like it's a low person on the totem pole because she's not as big of a creator as some of the creators that talk about you? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Why?
That's what I mean. That's why I keep stating that if Gypsy wanted to sue her for defamation, you've got the malice. The malice is there, and it's quite horrifying. The malice.
They would even act this way. Why is Fancy in here? Oh God, please, is she in here? Okay, I think I blocked her. So I just was like really disgusted by it, and I was disgusted because I was looking at the things that they were saying about her, and they were talking about her daughter, and they were getting really low and really just in, like, they were getting too. So I'm not mad because they stopped talking to me. I stopped believing their bullshit. Okay. So the reason why they went to Bree is because they could not rely on me anymore to play their game, because I wasn't willing to believe what they said to me, because what they were telling me wasn't matching the reality. Christy was really good at keeping Gypsy under wraps while she was in prison, and I never really got to see Gypsy's personality. And when I finally saw Gypsy's personality playing out in real time,
I didn't think KJ could go to another level, but she built one and went there. Oh, it's fascinating just when you think. And could you imagine though, where if they said, she's trying to prove her journalistic standard, and they're going, this is what her journalistic. This is the standard of a journalist.
I was disgusted, absolutely disgusted, because everything that Gypsy was doing was the exact opposite of what they promised she was going to be about. And I was like, I can't condone this. I can't support this. And I wasn't going to be fighting with creators for them. What they want in someone like Bree is they want her to just fight for no reason with people and share things and pick fights with people for them that they don't have they don't have the cojones, the balls to do themselves.
But you're like Crystal. I never saw Jip Jip play out till I spoke to her 2 times in 6 months because she's that deep. Without my crystal balls.
Have the cojones, the balls to do themselves.
Without those crystal balls.
I have a Spanish degree, so I apologize. I'm not trying to be. They don't have the balls to say it themselves.
Spanish degree. What was that? I'm sorry, I've got a Spanish degree. What does that mean?
They don't have the cojones, the balls to do themselves. I have a Spanish degree, so I apologize. I'm not trying to be. They don't have the balls to say it themselves. So they don't have the balls to go on their own platforms and say this shit. So they use Bree to pick fights with anyone that say the truth.
I don't understand why having a Spanish degree. Was it because she said kahunas? I think she thought she was speaking Spanish. Yes. Kahunas, I've just put it in, is a slang word. It means the most important or dominant person or thing. It doesn't mean what she thinks. Like big kahunas is Hawaiian word that means courage of big wave riders. A preeminent thing or person, a big gun. It doesn't even mean what she's saying. Oh. If anyone can find where it means that what she's saying it means, because I cannot. I'm googling and I can't find.
If you don't believe anything that I say, Shorty, then you don't have to be here. 0 followers. When did you create your account, Shorty? Why does it always want to block words like believe and joy? That's so dumb. Oh, wait. Okay, sorry. I don't want to talk about fancy. Like, I'm not here to talk about fancy, okay?
Big balls. Bolas grandes.
There you go.
Bolas grandes.
Bolus grandes is big balls in Spanish.
Bolas grandes.
Bolus grandes. So can they get a refund back on a Spanish degree?
I don't fancy and no. Bree is like embarrassing you guys. If this is what you guys want to represent your family, you guys are going to go down like the Titanic. You are going to go down in about burning flames, and nobody is going to care about who Gypsy is, because every single day that you align with Bree and use her to.
Oh, I did see a post about it, and she used about the Duggar's reference book, but there was no mention about UTIs.
Spread your narrative. You look racist. You look unintelligent.
How do you look racist? How do you look racist? You sound racist, don't you? But you don't look it.
Mindless. You look like bullies. It's ridiculous, to be honest. Oh, what happened to my thumbs? I'm sorry. I mowed the lawn yesterday. You know when you're mowing the lawn and I got blisters. It was really hot. I'm sorry.
I didn't know you mowed the lawn with your thumbs. I'm sorry I had to go there. Oh.
Ridiculous, to be honest. Oh, what happened to my thumbs? I'm sorry. I
mowed the lawn. I mowed the lawn. Sorry, I shouldn't have snorted. I mowed the lawn. How? What? Was that holding the scissors?
I mowed the lawn yesterday. You know when you're mowing the lawn and I got blisters. It was really hot. I'm sorry.
That's right, with just her thumbs. Thumb skid marks.
Blisters from mowing the lawn. Okay. So yeah, and it was warm out. And anyways, I can't see CH, and I don't know who CH is. So frankly, Gypsy is here.
Gypsy is here. Where's here? I've never got blisters from mowing the lawn.
Gypsy is here. Okay, CH is gone. Okay, so okay, CH is gone. Okay, so
I figured she'd shoot down their thumbs like you got it from the cult video. Look at that pose there. Oh dear. I've got to get a screenshot of that. Just hold on. That might have to become my thumbnail. Oh gee, hey. Okay. That's going to be the thumbnail.
Okay, first of all, I'm not going to play like the game of do I think Gypsy was ever abused by her mom, because there's definitely things Dee Dee did to her that I don't think are any good, loving mom would do to a child. Like, you don't teach your children how to steal and how to defraud and how to malinger. You don't tell your children to lie to police or lie to social workers or lie to doctors. Like, those are just things you should never do as a parent. Your child should be taught that there's consequences and that they shouldn't lie and they should be honest. They shouldn't be malingering. They shouldn't be taught to malinger. They shouldn't be forced to sit in a wheelchair. Shaving her head to make her pretend like she has cancer is abusive.
Did she say she shouldn't be forced to sit in the wheelchair?
To me. So frankly, yes, in many capacities, yes, she was abusive. Now, do I think there was medical abuse? No. She didn't make Gypsy sick on purpose. She didn't fake that Gypsy. She didn't cause illnesses in Gypsy. Yeah. So no. Yeah. So I'm going to turn the comments off because that's really not, like, sometimes I get really distracted with comments. So
yes, the comments are going off.
I'm coming on here basically to say that the reason why I had no clue that Gypsy and Christy were doing this was because I wasn't on TikTok and I wasn't paying attention to how they were treating people. And so now I understand why people believed that I was helping Gypsy bully Kate Marie, who was the other girl that apparently was claiming that Gypsy was bullying her, and she said she had Munchausen's by proxy. Everyone was lumping me in with Bree, and I didn't have a relationship with Bree, and I wasn't on TikTok. So I'm like, how am I bullying people that I don't even know exist? How am I helping Gypsy bully people when I don't know who these people are that she's talking about? Like, who's Kate? Who's, I barely knew who Nina was. I didn't know who half these people that they were talking about, who they were. Like, I didn't talk to them about other creators. I didn't even know the extent of the number of creators that they were talking to. It exploded after her release from prison. Like, the number of tentacles that they got involved in with all the different creators that they were like feeding information to is so astronomical that I couldn't even keep track. And then I'm watching live streams where Christy's like literally on a live at 5:30 in the fucking morning. Like, Christy, why are you live drunk at 5:30 in the morning with
Why are you like? Oh, that's what we say.
Like, don't you have shit to do? Why is your whole life consumed in negativity around Gypsy? If you had nothing to hide, you wouldn't care what people say about you. If you had nothing to hide, you wouldn't spend your time worrying about protecting Gypsy's reputation. And you certainly wouldn't try to throw things in people's faces that do speak out, that don't agree with you. Because frankly, trying to talk about Nina's past or Fancy's past or whoever's past is minute in comparison to what your stepdaughter did. There's no justification, no matter what you say, no matter how you try to spin it, for what Gypsy did to her mother. None of the people that are speaking out against Gypsy have crimes remotely equivalent to Gypsy. No matter how many times you guys want to say that Gypsy was justified in doing it, she wasn't, that she had no other options, she did. Gypsy had lots of other options. And the facts that you guys continue to push this narrative that she had no other options.
Hello, Kettle, yeah. There was one day where she spent about 10 hours. Don't judge her. Me and my bestie at 4 a.m. Don't judge women in perimenopause. You wake up and it's a thing. Oh dear. Oh, perimenopause. Actually, I was thinking about Peter doing a video on doing a live stream or something on perimenopause, so we could all just share our keep talking about our experiences of perimenopause, because I think it's horrible. Sometimes I just wake up and I want to cry. It's horrible. And yet there's all these men that want to be women, but they don't want. Let them have the perimenopause and then see if they want to be women. Because I tell you,
options sends a horrible message to society, and it tells children that if they don't feel like they have another option, they can unalive their parents. That is not a message that should be sent to anyone. You all went on national television and did interviews, by the way, where you said to people that you were going to be an advocate for change, and you were going to tell people that the choice that Gypsy made was the wrong choice. But yet over and over and over again, everything that you say outside of that doesn't match, because you're trying to constantly justify why Gypsy did what she did. The reason
it does. Oh, so that was the first one. So that was her clip 1. All right, clip 2. Oh, there's 4 of them.
seriously is because she doesn't take accountability. Coming out of prison and saying, I don't identify as the M word, or I only played a part in it. Like, you can't walk away from what you did, Gypsy. You walked to Walmart and you snuck out and you stole the knife. You found a boy that had autism and you manipulated him for 2 years to make him convinced that the only way with you was to be an unaliver with you.
Well, I have sped it up, short order. I have to tell you, I've sped it up. Because I can't listen to a normal. I'll put it at normal speed and you'll see why I sped it up. Here she's at normal speed. If only they could solve that case, yes.
You then made him feel like you were going to cheat on him. You tried to convince him that you were pregnant. You took a lot of steps to try to convince this poor boy that if he didn't do this, that you were going to, like, you guys couldn't be together. Then you lied and said that the
So yes, I'm going to speed it up again because that was painful.
reason why you did this was because your mom was being mean to you, when the truth was you just wanted to get rid of your mom. You didn't want to deal with her anymore. You were mad at her. It wasn't about abuse. It was about you were mad at your mom. You wanted revenge. That's it.
I'd like to know whether her lawyers know that she's got TikTok.
Your mom was telling you no in some capacity and you didn't like it. Who cares? Like, that's not an excuse. And you can say over and over again, it was because of medical harm, but there's no medical harm in your records whatsoever, no matter how many times you try to say it. Did you guys malinger? Yes. Did your mom bring you into the fraud? Yes. But no, she didn't cause you to have a microdeletion, and she certainly didn't cause you to have ear infections and hypersalivation and digestive issues and vomiting and choking. That was all you. You were the one taking these tests. You were the one in the exams with the speech pathologist in swallow studies saying you couldn't swallow things. Your mom wasn't doing that. You were. You were the one going along with things when you were an adult, not telling doctors you could walk. You were just
look, there's Jessie Bear.
As much in on it once you became an adult as your mom, and you were benefiting from it greatly with trips. You were going on more trips, and I told you when we're on the phone. Yes, we've only talked on the phone twice. I don't care about that. I wasn't friends with you, Gyp. I was friends with Christy. I told you.
Oh, she calls her Gyp.
You that really sick kids don't get the kind of shit you get, and I said, and that's how I knew you were a fraud, because people that are really sick can't.
She must be making some bag on the some dough on TikTok, because otherwise she wouldn't be on there every day. She wouldn't be posting if she's not making money. She wouldn't be doing it.
Travel all the time. They don't get to go places. I explained to you that like my family, we don't travel because my son can't manage that, because we
Oh, here we go.
can't, like, traveling with all the crap that he has that we would have to travel with, and then worrying that he would possibly have some sort of adrenal crisis or medical emergency while we're gone is just like not worth it to us. I explained to you that like my family, we don't travel because my son can't manage that, because we can't, like, traveling with all the crap that he has that we would have to travel with. And
How does he go at school then? That's right, she made the switch. Look, normal kids can, it doesn't matter. I mean, today there was an ambulance called at school. A child had an allergic reaction to something, and they had to call an ambulance and administer the EpiPen. And it happens. You know, anything can happen. To be trapped in your house.
I explained to you that like my family, we don't travel because my son can't manage that, because we.
So why has she got why has she got a big car then? Is what I want to know.
We can't, like, traveling with all the crap that he has that we would have to travel with, and then worrying that he would possibly have some sort of adrenal crisis or medical emergency while we're gone is just like not worth it to us. So we stay home and we keep our family happy here and give him the life that he can have here, and he has a full life. But you got things that most kids never dream
Got a full life, has he? He doesn't leave the house.
of. And then to cry that you didn't have a normal childhood when it's so evident that you got so many things that most kids never get is wild to me.
And so salty about that, isn't she?
And then to act like you never had access to children is just a bold-faced lie. Yes, there were some things you didn't get to do, but you got to do a lot of things that a lot of kids don't get to do. And now you're coming onto the TikTok and you're like, I'm going to be an advocate, but all you're doing is picking fights with people. And when you have people in your life that rode hard for you and believed your lies, but then they saw your behavior and were told by your mom, your stepmom, hold her accountable. And then when we try to hold you accountable, you're like, no, I want to hang out with people like Bree who will enable me and spit my narrative. So really what I see happening and what I saw happen with this family was that the people that they had in their lives that wanted to hold her accountable and that weren't agreeing with her were basically told, you need to help us hold her accountable. And then when we did try to hold her accountable, then it was like, you can't stress her out because she's pregnant. And if you do, the miscarriage will be your fault, which is so manipulative. And then told like, you can't do this, you can't do that, but you do need to do this and you do need to do that. Meanwhile, you're not telling us about all the shit you're pulling on TikTok.
That's what I believe. That's what I have heard. I don't know. A few people have said, yes, they did get some stuff early on. It's like, I mean, I wonder if she was offered. Yes, I mean, I'm glad Llama Girls put her logo there because I can't tell you. I mean, I can see through it. I'm hoping you can't see through it. It's not very pretty, but she's wearing. Let's just say she's got white underneath.
And all the bullying you're doing, and then you ask us to keep riding with you and defending you while we're getting our reputation smeared through the mud. Like, you know how many people made videos that said I was bullying Kate Marie when I had nothing to do with that and I didn't even know who this girl was? And now to find out, like, it was you, Nina, it was Christy and Gypsy and Bree that were bullying this girl, along with Nina. It's disgusting. And it's like what you're doing to Nina is racist and ableist to all these different people. And y'all are so ableist, like the way that you guys talk about autism and the way that you treat people with disabilities. And it's like the way that you deny that Gypsy has medical issues when it's very clear that Gypsy still gets winded when she walks, probably needs to be on medication for her asthma, which she probably isn't taking, has known eye issues, had multiple ear infections that required ear tubes. Like, it's become to me, it's getting to a point where every time I watch something new that I didn't know you guys were doing, I feel sick to my stomach because I'm like, it's no wonder, like, I was keeping you guys an arm's length, but it's no wonder you kept me an arm's length because towards the end, I'm sure you knew that I would have told you that the way you were acting was bullshit and you shouldn't be acting that way. You want no one in your life to tell you that you're acting poor. You want everyone in your life to just enable the bullshit that comes out of your mouth.
She's talking about herself there. Yeah.
And as long as you guys stay in that world of delusions, and if you want Bree to be your spokesperson, you are going to go down in flames because she's by far the worst spokesperson I've seen for you. She's got no critical thinking skills. She's lacking of any moral compass. She's such a fangirl and she just wants to be like a yes girl to you. And that's the only reason you guys are using her. You're using her. Bree, they don't care about you. They don't. I want you to know, Bree, you're on the laundry list of all the people that they've used along the way. You're going to be one that they stomp on as soon as you start asking questions. As long as you can bury your head in the sand and not look at the facts and ignore everything. And once their behavior starts actually impacting your life negatively, they don't care. They want you to fight their fights, but they're not going to give you anything in return. Nothing. Nothing. The sooner you figure it out, the better. Don't waste 5 years of your life like me.
Oh, she's put the comments back on. I still think that she was hoping to get the exclusive when Jip Jip came out of prison. Why can't? Because my monetization's gone, Bella. I've been demonetized. They've taken away all my privileges. So that's why, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you. I just had to get that off my chest. I'm not here to address like what other creators say. I'm not here to address what other creators cover.
No, they still haven't fixed it, Vidandra. I can't do anything about it for 90 days. I think that's what she wanted. Yeah. Membership's gone as well. But I did set up a Patreon with a minimum tier at the moment. I'm still trying to get it. I'm hoping to spend some time on it and building that up tomorrow. Put some stuff on there.
I just had to get that up. Yes, they're using Bree for bullying and for doxing.
Didn't she dox? I can't find it now. I think she must have deleted it, but she got called out for doxing Dan or something.
I wasn't on TikTok when all this was happening, so there's no way I was part of anything to do with Kate. And all these people made videos and they're like, Katie's bullying this person. And I'm like, I don't know who she is. How can I bully someone I don't know?
She wasn't on TikTok, but there's TikTok videos of hers from way back too.
Who exists? So no, for the record, I never bullied Kate. I didn't know what they were doing on TikTok. Had I known then, I would have said something then.
Yeah, she doxed Dan and left it up for a long time. Okay. Yeah, look, as I said, all this happened. Someone says, everyone's always trying to come for your reputation. She doesn't have one.
She will see the truth eventually, yes. I had already seen her interrogation. Like, I don't need to be told what to read and what to watch. And I don't need to be like, I think what people don't understand is I wasn't a blind follower. I wasn't. I was pushing back at them for months.
Wasn't a blind follower, but just kept publicly.
I was pointing out the inconsistencies. I wasn't privately being a yes person. I wasn't. I have months of text messages that I've shown where I'm not being a yes person, where I'm telling them flat out, like, I didn't agree with the gift registry thing. I thought that was disgusting. I was horrified when I saw the comments about autism that she made. I completely scolded them numerous times for how they were behaving. And I wasn't going to be that person. And I wasn't going to pick fights for people for them.
Yes, she did. She also claimed that she was manipulated. Yes. And again, that's something else that journalists are not often done, is manipulate, because there's always, oh, thank you, Utopia.
I wasn't going to, like, why would I need to be your person to pick your fights? Like, fight your own damn battles. Don't use content creators to fight your battles. Like, if you have something you want to say, just say it. Stop using other people and flying monkeys to fight battles for you that they have nothing invested in fighting for. Like, why would I put my reputation on the line for y'all? I mean, I told you I'm not going to lie for you. I told you guys that. When you guys were lying to me and telling me to put stuff out publicly, and I said I wasn't going to lie for you, I wasn't going to lie for Gypsy, I wasn't going to be that person.
I reckon that too. And don't forget, now she's got a manager, right? And I reckon she's annoyed at that as well. She's thinking she could have paid me $7,000 a month for me to do her social media. You're on the floor.
I was never her bulldog creator, ever. And I was never going to be her bulldog creator. Oh, they've said a lot of things. Go Google Gypsy's comments about autism and find it. I don't want to, like, get into the nitty gritty of it. She's just basically made it seem like unless you're nonverbal and you can't walk, you're the only person that needs to be advocated for. But if you have a disability that impairs your cognitive function, but you're still able to function and speak, you shouldn't have any advocates at all. And that's really disgusting. It's ableism. It's like, well, he doesn't really have a disability. He's only mildly autistic or whatever. And it's gross. It's gross. And to see them, to see Bree in a video impersonating Nina's followers and making sounds that sound like she's being a chimpanzee or a ape was like, I can't even tell you how grossed out I was, because it was so racist. And she'll say, I wasn't being racist. I wasn't being racist. I was just saying, ooh, ah. That's not how it sounded. It sounded like you were doing the sounds of a chimpanzee. It's on one of Starlight has it. Hello, Starlight has it on her channel. That's where I saw it. It was in one of her videos about Bree.
So she does watch other creators.
Nina's another creator. Christy, what's your point? The point is that we are not going to be approving or dealing with these people anymore. That's the point. I'm so tired of these.
What's your point? If someone says, then shut up and move on.
Aren't I starting drama by bringing up old stuff they've said? So stuff they've said in the last month or two is old. So we don't have accountability for things that we said within the last 2 months. We have no accountability for that. We don't have accountability for things that they've said this summer.
Well, what about the stuff that she said?
They have no accountability for things they've said this summer? Really? Is that what we're saying? Is that what people think? Like, you can say racist things this summer and there's no accountability for that? You can behave like a chimpanzee and a gorilla when you're talking about a black woman? You say that in June and that's old? I'm sorry.
Of course she'll say. Of course she'll say that. And I think I did state that I think I do state that I'm also just a law student, but yes. But I can read the legislation. We read I showed you the civil standard, and I gave you all the link to the legal journal as well. I'll even give you the link to the court rules. Here we go, just so that you can on summary judgment. So you've got everything. I'm not that way. I'm not giving you anything that you don't have. And that way you can make up your own mind because you've got your own facts there.
That literally just happened. That just happened. That just happened. Gypsy wants to be an advocate. She's trying to say like, oh, you haven't seen it? Oh, I wish I could show you. You can't show videos on TikTok. On Instagram, I'd be able to show you the video of what she's doing, and I'm not going to impersonate her because it's racist.
Hang on. It's racist to make... She's impersonated Gypsy before.
And, yeah.
I've got to speak this up. Come on. Come on. I want to speak this up.
It's horrible what they were doing. It was their real accounts, and yeah, it was on Bree's YouTube. I was just like, I couldn't believe it. On Bree. Bree's a no one too. Like, here's the thing, like, Bree has no following. This is how far they've fallen. They can't get anyone with a following anymore to actually support them. Anyone that has any platform whatsoever will not support them anymore. So they're being like resorting to people that have 0 followers to fight their battles for them, because anyone that has followers can't support this. I'm not going to be aligning with people that lie. Who cares? I do. You're obviously here. Nobody wants the drama, then why are you here? Like, the best way they could mitigate this is to like get off social media. It's actually a dress. I think I got it like, yeah, no, the big creators, we don't want the drama. Yeah, I don't want the drama. I don't want to be accused of bullying people on behalf of Gypsy. I don't want to be accused of being associated with that.
She's saying she's a big creator now.
Nobody wants the drama, then why are you here? Like, the best way they could mitigate this is to like get off social media. It's actually a dress. I think I got it like, yeah, no, the big creators, we don't want the drama. Yeah, I don't want the drama. I don't want to be accused of bullying people on behalf of Gypsy. I don't want to be accused of being associated with that kind of behavior. I don't want to be accused of aligning with people that are racist, because that's completely opposite of who I am. I don't want to be accused of aligning with people that are saying really degrading things about people with autism, because that's not who I am, because I have a son that's autistic. The dress is I think it's from Goodnight Macaroon, and I bought it a couple years ago, so it's probably not for sale anymore. I've been a little bit stressed, and I've gained a few pounds this summer, so I'm like in that really like, I'm not going to buy clothes until I lose weight. But yeah.
She's put on a bit of weight because she's stressed. Hello, Bo.
Being honest, just being real. It's from Goodnight Macaroon. That's like an online thing.
Well, she can't mow the lawn because she gets blisters on her hands.
It's from Goodnight Macaroon. That's like an online thing. So who am I actually bullying by saying this? Am I bullying Gypsy and Christy by calling it out? Does that make me a bully? I'd love to ask like Sammy.
Does it make her a hater? Does it make her a hater now? Out of interest?
I'd love to know how I'm being a bully by calling out people for being racist. How am I bullying someone for that? How am I bullying someone who has a conviction for felony unaliving, second degree unaliving? By saying you're burning your platform down. The second chance you were given is going up in flames because of how you're acting. She didn't just play a part, she did it. You were mocking. Who was I mocking? I was mocking her voice. Well, her voice is fake.
Fake, 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 fake.
Her voice is fake. If you think that anything about her is real, it's fake. Doing her voice is to show you how fake her voice is. Her voice changes depending on who she's talking to. It is fake. I've heard her. I've heard her change her voice. I've heard her change her accent. I've heard her change her tone. I've heard different voices come out of that mouth depending on
in 2 phone calls?
Who she's talking to. When she was in court pleading not guilty and like her voice was really high, that was fake. When she uses a really high-pitched voice, that's fake. That's her trying to sound like a child. When you hear her like getting sassy with Ken on the phone and she's laughing about her fighting with Ryan, that's her real voice. She's like laughing about hurting him. When she's talking about Christy and Mia fighting, that's her real voice. It's not the high-pitched squeaky voice. You're obsessed. Well, Alicia's like, you're obsessed, but you're obsessed because you're here, pirate.
You just call someone a pirate.
You're obsessed. Well, Alicia's like, you're obsessed, but you're obsessed because you're here, pirate.
Pirate. I am Pirate King. Pirate. I am the Pirate King.
You're obsessed. Well, Alicia's like, you're obsessed, but you're obsessed because you're here, pirate.
Oh dear.
Do Christy and Gypsy get along? Not really. I'm gonna see if she'll join me because and why is this your business to share? Why is it their business to put it out publicly? Why is it their business to share what they share publicly? So apparently me saying that the voice that she uses when she's like mocking Ryan is her real voice on a television show that she was paid for is not my business to talk about, even though they put it out on a public television show that was on a network that they were paid for. Do you see how that goes? They keep saying, I don't want to be, thank you for all of these roses, mommy. Like she's putting it out publicly. None of it's our business, but it's all out on TikTok. So is it not? But what's it to you? Wow, Gypsy's stands are in here. Did you send all your friends, Bree? I don't know who you are, Angelina, and I'm not going to let you come in. Sorry. If I don't know who you are, I'm not letting you on. can talk about whoever I want. I can say whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. This is my platform. Nobody wants to see your nudes, lady.
I can do whatever I like.
I'm PSA. I didn't need them. Like, I was the one that had a platform and they didn't for the longest time. And then she came out and got a platform and was like, I'm way bigger than you. Bye. And I don't care. I don't need.
There it is. There it is. That's why she's salty. Their platform's bigger than hers. Sounds like a child.
Need her. I wasn't going to co-sign their behavior. Yeah, I'm not on parole. Thank you, Dee Dee's ghost. I don't have any felony convictions. I'm not a felon. I've never unalived anyone. I'm just, what I am is disgusted that these people are using content creators in this way and making other people fight battles for them that are not their battles to fight. They want everyone to just believe their spoon-fed lies, and they don't want anyone to question anything. And then it becomes my business when they're trying to make my platform align to theirs and drag my platform into their bullshit. Do you understand? They're asking me to put my business and reputation on the line for them. That becomes my business when you're
My business and reputation on the line. Well, yes, I've got to find that clip. I want to see what people think about it. But I'm sort of the thing that I'm sure that if she had had another child, yes, I've read it. I haven't seen it, but I believe she did take the photos down. Why would you put a watermark of stuff that you have used from a professional photographer's page? Is that stealing, in my opinion?
saying your behavior is negatively in fact affecting my business and you're trying to bring my business into your bullshit. You wanted my platform to come in and fight your battles, and then when your behavior isn't in alignment with my platform and I don't want to be dragged into your bullshit, you make it my business when you're trying to bring my reputation into your shit and you're asking me to spread lies for you that I won't spread or say. And I'm not going to fight battles for you when I know it's inappropriate and bullying. Yeah, Todd Chrisley did sue me because I reported like every other media outlet. And guess what? Todd Chrisley's in prison. He was convicted and everything that I reported came out in his trial. Here's the thing about narcissists like Todd.
Oh, she's talking about him again. She can't keep him out of her mouth. I just can't get you out of my head. Can she? Here we go.
They sue people. They sue people a lot. Stop it. I'm not bringing you on here. Stop trying to join my live. If you try to join my live one more time after I've declined you. Yes, that was Chrisley Knows Best. He sued me because I reported on some FBI investigation that happened with his daughter that I reported on, and then I communicated with his daughter for a while. And he sued me because I talked about an article that his son gave to, I don't even know if it was like The Sun or Radar Online, basically saying that Todd was having an affair with a man in the office. And I literally just reported that his son gave this interview saying that his dad was having an affair. And then Todd's like, you called me gay. And I'm like, well, no, actually your son did. And here's the article where he said this.
Like, you did call him gay. We've seen the clips. We've seen the clips. Oh dear. Oh, there is a new video we can look at too.
literally just reported that his son gave this interview saying that his dad was having an affair. And then Todd's like, you called me gay. And I'm like, well, no, actually your son did. And here's the article where he said this. Like, it was the dumbest lawsuit. And I countersued him for defaming my son, harassing us. And he settled. His podcast took all of the negative defaming content he put out about me was taken off their platform.
And you had to take down all of your stuff about him. Let's not make it one-sided. You had to take down all of your stuff.
I worked on Netflix's Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult. I was their archival consultant, which is a journalistic position where I managed all the archives for that series. And I provided all of the digital background and reporting for. That was just released in May. And so one of the reasons why I wasn't available and at the disposal of Gypsy and her family was because I was busy. I was busy this spring. We released a docuseries on Netflix, and I was busy working on a docuseries and putting out content for that docuseries. And that docuseries was one of the biggest viewed documentaries that Netflix has ever put out. It was
really. That's why it's not up for an award. Just a small town girl.
#1 for more than, I think, 2 weeks.
Oh, it was on.
The series was a hit because of how well it was done. The director did an amazing job. It was called Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult. The director is Derek Doreen, and the executive producer was Jessica Acevedo. And the production company was Dirty Robber in collaboration with Wilmer Valderrama Entertainment Company. I was the one that broke the story, and so my reporting and archives were used for it. I
break the story. She's saying I had it first. Which again is what 7M's was part of what 7M had said. Let's be honest. You know, you cannot. You thought I didn't think it was very good. Yes. She broke the story, I think. She said she broke the story. She broke the story. But see, in her defense, she said everybody was reporting it, but 7M said she was the one that put it out there. That was their I saw a very good docuseries the other day on the culture. It was on the ABC about the culture behind the Seven network, and it was really interesting because several times you would hear we put these claims to the 7 management, and they would only give us an off-the-record response, or you would get, we put these claims to such and such, and this is what they've said. That's how it's done.
I was the one that broke the story, and so my reporting and archives were used for it. I provided I did all their archival consultant work along with 2 other people. Wilmer Valderrama, like the actor that was on that 70s show and stars on NCIS, his non-scripted side of his entertainment production company. Wilmer was a executive producer, but he was more like hands-off because it was his company. Jessica, from his non-scripted side of the production company, is really who did the work. I don't know if you know anything about production companies, but the production.
Oh, here we go. Short order. You better get ready. We're going to get a lesson as to how the business works. Hello, Gigi. All right. Short orders our.
The reasons why people don't take Gypsy seriously. Scripted side of the production company is really who did the work. I don't know if you know anything about production companies, but the production company, people get credits because it's their production company, and obviously Wilmer's company is putting the money out for the series. But Jessica's the one that did the work on the non-scripted side. So it was really Derek and Jessica that did a lot of the work, and then they did the interviewing of subjects, and then there was the 3 of us that were helping them with the archives on the back end. And there's a lot of people that are given credits in the series, but it was a very small group of people.
Okay, I need to replay that because I don't think I've quite learned how to.
Series and putting out content.
I didn't quite hear how a docuseries works.
Because of how well it was done, the director did an amazing job. It was called Dancing for the Devil, the archival. I did all their archival consultant work along with 2 other people. Wilmer Valderrama, like the actor that was on that 70s show and stars on NCIS.
But isn't he hasn't he been in trouble with the law for wasn't he caught up in that child stuff? I'm not going to say anymore, but you know what I'm talking about.
His non-scripted side of his entertainment production company. Wilmer was a executive producer, but he was more like hands off because it was his company. Jessica, from his non-scripted side of the production company, is really who did the work. I don't know if you know anything about production companies, but the production company, people get credits because it's their production company. And obviously Wilmer's company is putting the money out for the series. But Jessica's the one that did the work on the non-scripted side. So it was really Derek and Jessica that did a lot of the work. And then they did the interviewing of subjects. And then there was the 3 of us that were helping them with the art archives on the back end. And there's a lot of people that are given credits in the series. But
you didn't show, I mean, I believe they didn't show the statement put out by 7M or Miranda and Derek.
It was a very small group of people.
I still don't know how production companies work.
And that series was 2 years of work. So that came out on May 29th. And so I was in the middle of that, right? When all of this stuff with Gypsy was happening, and I didn't have the bandwidth to be their person because I was working on this project. I was dealing with stuff with my other stories that their stuff was like non-existent to me. I was working on things that mattered to me, that were important to me. I was helping families, and I was trying to help victims have a voice through the series and dealing with litigation myself because of that series. So when people say you're always getting sued, well, yeah, I'm getting sued by one person right now because of the series that just
Wait
came out.
on. He sued you before the series came out. He sued you before the series was coming out.
So if you're going to ask yourself, yes, Christy reached out to me years ago. 7M, Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult. It's on Netflix. It's also listed in my bio, so you can find it there. There's also videos of it pinned, and there's videos in my profile that you can see from the series.
That's why, this is why I'm thinking.
Is because she doesn't take accountability.
This is why I'm thinking she's.
With the Devil is actually a song by Demi Lovato.
This is why I'm thinking she's done the summary judgment, to be honest, because she thinks everything that's come out in the docuseries has made her case. So she's trying to prove that there's no case to answer. This is just my opinion. I've got no idea. Yeah, I thought she did too. I thought she said that too. That's just my speculation, is that that's what she's done. She thinks the doco saved her, so she's that's what she's doing. That's just, as I said, that's just my speculation. I've got no idea. I hope that I'm wrong, but I have a feeling that she's been emboldened by the docuseries. Well, think of the. Yeah, so usually it's a motion, so somebody has to file it. And then it gets debated and it's given. Yeah. Just briefly, just show you the Minnesota court. So this is the doco didn't prove anything. So a party may move for a summary judgment identifying each or defense or the part of each claim or defense on which the summary judgment is sought. If the moving party, the party that files it, shows that there is no genuine issue as to any material fact and the movement is entitled to a judgment as a matter of law. So it's filed as if you're going to say that there's no case to answer and you want the court to make a decision on it. There's no genuine issue as to any material fact, and the movement is entitled to judgment as a matter of law. So what they're saying is that, and then there's different sections of it. So they will say it is. My suspecting is they're going to go because failing to produce properly support or address the facts. That's what they're going to do. But essentially, they're going to say that there's no. The argument will be it will probably be that they haven't actually given enough evidence to support their fact. The case is that's what I think it will be. I think it's been filed by Katie, but I can't prove it because we don't have the information. That's my suspicion. But she's going to say she didn't provide discovery because there was no case to answer. Because she's a jerk, you know. She's saying there's no case to answer. Everything that was in the documentary was right, and everything I've proven. Do you have a list of resources for people looking to get out of cults? Somebody asks. Just, oops. Actually, I need to get back in here. Doesn't like it when I get out. Let me just get the sound working again. So somebody has asked, do you have a list of resources for people getting out of cults?
Do I have a list of resources? The book that I recommend is Take Back My Life by Dr. Janji Lalich. Take Back My Life.
What's she doing down here? Oh, you can't see it, can you? I think she's got her skirt up. Just under here. Just have a look. She's playing with the.
What I recommend is Take Back My Life by Dr. Janji Lalich.
Yes, 25th to the 11th. Have a look. If you can have a look down here. Maybe you don't want to. That's a book, not a person. Or a resource.
Take Back My Life. That's a good book to start if you want your life back from leaving a cult. Get a good therapist in trauma recovery. And yeah.
So the answer is no.
Today I'm tired because I had appointments, so I'm not tired though. That's like a really.
Hold on.
Today I'm tired because I had appointments, so I'm not tired though.
I'm tired because I had appointments, but I'm not tired though.
That's like a really. That's a weird thing. You look really tired. Really, I have my makeup on because I had appointments, so I'm not tired though. That's like a really.
Everyone go to WOACB Reddit page to see how Katie really is. Someone's written, someone's put that there. It's just here. It's just about to fade out, this comment here. Everyone go to WOACB Reddit page. It's at the top there.
That's a weird thing. You look really tired. Really, I have my makeup on. I'm wearing a dress. I actually feel like good. I don't feel tired. Yeah, you look tired. I seem stressed. What am I stressed about?
Didn't she just say she's stressed? Oh, sure. She will do.
I don't feel stressed. I actually feel like, as far as like my.
Hang on. She said before she was stressed and because she's put on weight.
Stress level when it comes to Gypsy, my life actually feels like 100 times less stressful now that I don't have to deal with them, frankly. Now that I don't have to pretend like, now that I don't have to fight with them about, I'm not going to do this for you, I'm not going to do that for you, I don't support this, I don't support that. Like, now that that's over, I feel like this weight has been lifted off of me. No, I can't look into another show. Someone said, can you look into this? No.
What's she done to her hair now?
Yeah, being a part of like a narcissistic world like that, I feel relief having not to be like dealing with them. Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult. That's what it was. Oh, and then that was another thing. I was on a live and I said, Gypsy would never create a GoFundMe for something. I heard Christy actually joking about creating a GoFundMe so Gypsy could sue Fancy Maselli. And I'm like, you guys are crazy if you ask for money from anyone in the public.
So is she admitting, is she now admitting that what one of them is Gypsy's? You guts did great on that. You guts, it should be you.
Yes, thank you. This is what it was called. I couldn't pin that comment, it said. Well, why did you stay so long? Well, I just explained to you that this whole last year, I've been very busy with other things and I wasn't working on stuff related to Gypsy. I mean, did you look at my content and how infrequently I actually spoke about Gypsy? I was not at their beck and call and I was not willing to like put my reputation on the line for them because I actually was working on things with.
She wasn't prepared to put her reputation on the line. Okay, but she did.
Production companies and with Netflix that I didn't want to have to be brought down into their stuff because the last thing I needed to be involved in was online bullying that they were involved in. Like,
or another lawsuit.
I was busy literally all for like 2 years on that project behind the scenes while also putting.
How much? I'd like to know how much she got paid for that, by the way. That's what I'm interested in.
Content on Sister Wives, and I don't know if you realize, but in March there was a huge tragedy in the Sister Wives world. I spent a good part of my time while I was involved in with this friendship covering the Josh Duggar trial. That was like a huge thing, right? And the Josh Duggar trial was one of the most despicable, abhorrent, just disgusting things I've ever had to cover. And supporters of the Duggars are still to this day trying to accuse me of downloading the content that Josh is in prison for. It's the most insane form of gaslighting I've ever seen. Like, I had nightmares while I was covering that case because reading the court documents and what he was looking at and what he had downloaded was the most atrocious. Just, I couldn't even sleep at night thinking about what these little kids had to go through and he was getting pleasure out of watching. And then to this day,
you don't need to go and you don't need to be giving us a rehash. Why does she have to give us a rehash?
The people that stand the Duggars are trying to say that I was watching that stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, these people are insane. The case gave me nightmares. It did. I
thought she said that she had come across it. I thought.
Nightmares in that case. I still for the longest time had nightmares about, I have nightmares about even having to like be in the same room with him and like just reading the court records and they had to describe the videos that he was downloading. I will, if I never have to cover a case about child SCSAM in my life again, I would be happy to never cover a case like that. I will say the one caveat and the one silver lining about that case is it brought to the forefront in a very public way the harms of what children are going through and what people online are doing to children and selling on the black market, and the trafficking that's being done of these children. It brought that to a huge platform so that people could better understand, like, this is a huge problem in our society.
You think about the fact she was still had her son next to her as well. I mean, imagine what he would have had to have gone through. Well, that's right. How was it the worst of the worst?
And that was it brought awareness to this huge problem. And that was only the tip of the iceberg, correct. And a lot of times it is parents, family, and friends exploiting it. But in Josh's case, it wasn't. And if you listened to Josh's case, you would know that the biggest piece of evidence was literally content that a man was doing from the Philippines, where he was literally kidnapping children off the street and trafficking them. He wasn't related to these kids. He wasn't. He was finding kids on the street in the Philippines and he was kidnapping them and he unalived them.
Now that I remember.
His name is Peter Scully. He's in prison for life. And it wasn't, Josh didn't do that. That was the content that Josh had downloaded onto his computer. So Josh was watching the content that this man was making.
I mean, if it caused you so much grief, why would you be Why would you be putting it out there? Is what I want to know.
His name is Peter Scully.
And you can hear her son in the background. So she's talking about this.
He was watching stuff made by Peter Scully. Yes. He's one of the most notorious creators of this kind of disgusting, illegal.
You can hear her son in the background. Well, I was going to say, that's like been a long time ago now, wasn't it? But it's not stuff that I'd want my child to be hearing.
Content. He's from Australia. He's in prison for life in the Philippines.
He was from Australia. We don't claim him as our own. He lived in the Philippines for a long time. We disowned him.
Some of the children that were in these videos and these movies were unalived while he was making them. He was literally making it content on demand for people in a dark web, like video streaming service. And he was selling access to these videos for like $10,000. Yeah, someone said he had about 75 victims. There's at least 3 kids that I know that were no longer here. So yeah. So Josh, yes, and Josh watched that. It was gross. And that's the kind of stuff that was listed in the court records. So what
No, I don't, Bo. Oh, apparently she's over in Europe at the moment having a holiday that we probably paid for. Don't get me started, because then there's also the Olympic cyclist that's come back and said, "Oh, I've decided I'm going to go compete for England now. Thanks a lot, Australia. Thank you for everything that you've done for me. Up your nose with a rubber hose and may it come out the other end. I'm going to go compete for GB now because I was born there." But yes, don't claim her. Don't claim Reagan. But Reagan apparently is signing a contract for I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Allegedly.
I'm saying is like this job is not easy. It is terrifying. I had nightmares about it.
Why on earth would you talk about it?
All right, I have to go. So,
what do you do for work? Someone says. Oops. Gotta go. Oops. I'm gonna mess that up. I gotta go. Oops, it's my computer's decided. Well, if, for example, she did bring the motion, as I said, doesn't show that now. If she did happen to bring the motion for summary judgment and she loses, she'll have to pay costs to the other party. Okay. I think I just want to show you WOACB versus WOACB brought out a new video today. I believe she did. So we're going to just have a look at that one. Hopefully my internet's going to work. Okay, so I'm just going to stop this screen sharing and I'm going to bring it up here. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Where is it? Oh, gee whiz, look at this. Says, Katie talks about Dee Blanchard and is Nick go to John, a victim of Gypsy Rose. So here are the dates. So she said she's got Facebook Live in 2019, TikTok Live July 2024, TikTok Live August 4, TikTok Live August 15, Hello Starlight's YouTube on the 4th of August, by proxy meeting with KJ. All right, so let's have a look.
I am so excited because I am going to be doing this story about this woman named Susan Schofield. And I'm going to write an article, I promise. I just want to reach out to, I'm going to see if I can get in touch with Susan's husband's daughter as well as Michael, and I might try to see if I can talk to Susan, because I feel like, you know, if I really want to do the story justice, maybe her crazy train should be a part of the story. But you guys know that, like, my main point of focus is always to be for the children, and I really do think these children are being abused by Susan, absolutely, because I think Susan has what's called Munchausen by proxy. So this afternoon, I had a little bit of time because my son was really into hanging out in his room by himself, which was a nice escape. I don't really get that much break from him. So now Susan is crazy, like straight crazy. So you guys know that I cover these Munchausen by proxy moms. And here's the thing with Munchausen by proxy. These women have a lot of time on their hands to research, and they surround themselves with people that are well-informed and understand the mental health world, that understand the legal world. So she knows exactly what she can do. And as long as a doctor is prescribing these medications for her kid, she's literally not abusing them, even if they're completely like whacked out of their mind and can't speak. And I'm sure part of the reason that she's keeping her kids so drugged up is so that they look sicker than they are. And look.
So, doesn't her voice? She sounds so much different. You used to babysit Jenny, Lulu. Wow. Isn't her voice different?
More mentally unwell than they actually are. To be honest, like the mainstream media will do like a story on a munchie mom and then they're like moving on. But in this case, I will like write about Susan as many times as I need to. I'm looking for people to come forward so I can put together a piece that does justice for Bodie and for Janny, because really at the end of the day, it's about the kids. And unless somebody like stands up for them, Susan will literally kill them. And if she doesn't kill them, she's going to fuck their brains up for the rest of their lives. And she will make them dependent and they will end up being 23 years old, like Gypsy Rose.
Susan was out there. Susan is out there as she appeared, says asks Judy.
Rose was.
The kind of crime that Gypsy committed is one of the most egregious crimes anyone could ever commit. The depth of the gore and the brutality of the crime that was committed against Dee Dee is one of the most egregious types of crimes that anyone can commit. So people that don't agree with that are not haters. And they don't seem to get that. They truly think that if you don't see Gypsy as a victim and you don't view this homicide as justified, that you are a hater. Gypsy was not a victim the night that Dee Dee was unalived. Dee Dee was asleep. She had taken a sleeping pill. She was completely vulnerable, and there was absolutely no threat to Gypsy's life. Zero. Like, it was wrong for them to exploit this and profit off of what happened, because
look at the difference in her.
Dee Dee is a victim. As much as you want to make her the bad guy, she's also a victim in this crime. Like, she was only 48 years old. If she were still alive today, she would be 57 years old. She was very young. She didn't have to be. You know, if something illegal had happened, it should have been handled in the court of law. It should not have been taken to that extent. And I think it's unfair to say that she got what she deserved. Because I don't think that,
to be honest, like the mainstream media will do like a story on a munchie mom and then they're like moving on. Like, so Dee Dee Blanchard's case like just wrapped up, right? So Nicholas Godjun just got sentenced to life in prison for killing her, which PS is like super stupid. Like, he shouldn't have gotten life in prison. Dee Dee deserved to die.
Oh, that was, oh, look at that view. Hang on. Look at that.
I'm going to block you for saying that Dee Dee got what she deserved, because that's just not an unnecessary comment. I'm sorry, but
I don't discount that Gypsy was that her mom was very controlling, and that her mom, I mean, even here's the thing, Dee Dee's siblings do not deny that Dee Dee was controlling of her daughter, that Dee Dee was exaggerating and taking advantage of people and using Gypsy as a pawn. Even her siblings don't deny that. So I think it's just like really disconcerting for the public to somehow be like, no, Gypsy wasn't a victim in some of this. But being a victim of child abuse doesn't excuse unaliving your mom.
Kind of like if like one of Susan's kids like ended up killing her, like, can you really blame them? I'm not saying like go murder Susan, but like that's how bad, that's the level of abuse these children go through.
I know about that, but I don't at all discount that like Dee Dee did stuff to her daughter that was not necessary. I don't discount that Dee Dee was controlling, but I also know a lot of kids that have parents that are very terrible and they don't unalive them. Being hurt by a parent doesn't ever excuse unaliving someone. Thank you guys for your likes. Thank you guys for all of that, your hearts, all of those things. Thank you so much. Thank you for helping get this video out. Okay. Let's talk about that. Yeah, keep giving me those likes. Thank you. And tapping and all of those things. Thank you so much.
Keep giving me those likes. Hello. Yes, it is amazing. There's already been so many contradictions.
Okay. It says Community Fest. I don't even know what that means. Cool. I don't believe in capital punishment. I'm not defensive of Dee Dee. Why is it defensive? It's weird to me that like a victim that has been unalived, saying that it's wrong for someone to be unalived is somehow being defensive of someone. Is that weird? Like, I didn't know that we lived in a society where we took justice into our own hands and we decided who gets to live and who gets to die. That's not the society that
The only thing that puts a smile on her face, yes.
I want to live in. Even if
Oh, look at the picture on the right.
I don't like someone and they've done bad things, I still don't want them to be unalived. Like, at all. Like, as much as I hate Dee Dee, it's almost like they're just as bad. And at least Dee Dee didn't drink. And Christy, whose fault is it that Rod had no relationship with those kids? I'm pretty sure it was you that wanted all his fucking time and resources for your kids and made it impossible for Rod to have a relationship with his kids. Christy is the consummate fucking narcissistic gaslighter that puts everything on Dee Dee when she's the one that stood in the way of that relationship. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest because I have literally listened to her badmouth Dee Dee for years, and I've listened to that woman say Dee Dee deserved it so many times that it's disgusting.
He shouldn't have gotten life in prison. Dee Dee deserved to die.
Like, Christy, no. Nobody deserves to have their fucking neck decapitated, and if you think she deserved it, then you deserve that. And I hope when you go to bed, you're locking your door and you get what you deserve.
Wow.
Okay. TikTok was going to say that I wasn't being active. You guys, you need to like tap and give me all kinds of loves and like give me likes and all those things, like, because it was saying there was inactivity here. They had a vendetta against Dee Dee and nobody else wanted her dead more than them. What other fucking parent would jump on a live and say it's justified for their daughter to fucking kill their parent? If that's the case, Gypsy has a right to kill Rod under the same fucking circumstances. I would say abandonment and neglect would be just as bad. And Christy's a piece of fucking shit too.
Agree.
So my thing about Becca Scoops is I watched her videos. Some of you guys asked me about that.
Says you really should watch YouTube videos by Becca Scoops. So much information. She says, I know the case. I don't need to watch a YouTube channel. I've read the reads. Watch the interrogations, trials, etc.
I watched Becca's videos. I was a little confused by Becca's 5th video though. It really felt like in that video that I don't disagree that Gypsy manipulated Nick, and I also don't disagree that Nick wouldn't have done it if not for Gypsy. But it's not fair to say that Nick didn't say things to Gypsy that weren't kind. It's also not fair to say that Nick didn't play a dominant role in their role playing. It's also not fair to say that Nick didn't make comments to Gypsy that were also abusive.
But we also went there, so we don't know.
It like went both ways. They had a very toxic relationship that was like back and forth. I believe that Gypsy was the mastermind, but to try to like take all of the accountability off the fact that Nick made the choice to do it, he's guilty too. He's guilty. They're both guilty. They're co-defendants. I think everyone wants to say that because Gypsy pursued him or whatever, that he's not guilty, but he's guilty. Like, they're both guilty. Do I agree with his sentence? Not really. I remember when he was sentenced, and I actually told Christy that I thought it was horribly like unjust. Like, I don't think he should be sentenced to life without a possibility for parole, and then she gets 10 years. I just, I felt the disparity in the sentences was a huge problem. When it comes to what people think about Nick, I also have my own opinions. Like, I'm not a Nick advocate. I'll never be a Nick advocate. I think my issue between the disparities in their sentences is that Gypsy's not serving life. If we need anything, we would need Gypsy back in prison because she deserves to be serving a life sentence.
Flip-flopping.
He also got a sentence that was equal to what his crime was. This was premeditated and it was first degree, and he knew right from wrong. I'm like, the way that they made me feel about Nick is not how I initially felt. Before contact with them, I had a lot of empathy for Nick. I felt wounded for him because he's a child.
I don't think I did. I may have. I've got to go have a look, short order, and see what I've got. But it's on one of my lives, so I just have to go and grab it and resave it, I think.
I mean, a child, but he, a 26-year-old young man with autism with a 82 IQ. I have a son with autism with a 74 IQ. I could see that's a vulnerable place. Yeah, because of my son. And like, I also have gone through all of his appointments with him with neuropsychology and have understood that like at a certain point on the IQ spectrum, there's this gray area in IQ where they're not considered cognitively disabled. And so it would not be an intellectual disability, but it's also not, it's not at the average. And Nick is like at the cusp, right? My son is actually below average. Nick is at that cusp, and psychologists and neuropsychologists call that a gray area where they are some of the most vulnerable because they appear functioning enough, but they also need so much help. And Nick needed more help. And it just makes me sad that he ended up in that position. And it also makes me sad that like before I met them, I was angry about the fact that he was not giving the same sentence as Gypsy, or there felt like there was such a severe disparity.
It felt very cruel too. I'm sorry. It just felt very cruel.
Do I think he's? Yeah. Do I think he's?
No, I think the Nick, what happened to Nick was just cruel.
Yeah, 100%.
Justice. It goes beyond not getting justice. It's like cruelty. It was cruel and unusual punishment.
I feel like there was no understanding from the court about his disability, and I
don't think he was capable of taking the stand, to be quite honest.
No. And the way that Ken speaks and all of the fighting he was saying and all those talking points he had about like it's a tornado and it's a volcano, that's their talking point. And that Nick was the one that was the bad one, not Gypsy. And like those are their talking points. And when you hear that over and over and over and over again, and you want to be empathetic to someone that they're claiming is a massive victim, it almost
They're gaslighting you.
Yeah. And then when you have empathy for people that have been abused, like I do, it's like they're preying on that, right? Because then I don't want to question her victimhood.
Oh, gee, she's got her in the same live now that she's in stereo. So Nick was never deemed incompetent to stand trial, ever. At no time during they have standards that they have to meet for the court, and he was never deemed incompetent. And due to his autism, he was never deemed incapable of deliberating. So from a legal standpoint, he was never deemed incompetent, and he was never deemed incapable of deliberating. So that's all I can say, like from a legal standpoint. Like, to a lawyer, no, I'm literally just answering questions and someone asked for my opinion.
What's the problem? Why is Gypsy mad about the act?
Because it makes her look really damn bad.
Well, she murdered her mom.
Well, I think they played up on Nick's autism and made him look way more innocent than he is.
I mean, he is absolutely developmentally delayed and should not be in prison.
Not as much as people think.
Not as much as people think.
That is really the specialists have all contradicted themselves. When you read emails that he does, he is intelligent.
But that doesn't, you can be intelligent and autistic.
Yeah, no, autistic, absolutely. No, not the same. No,
But he's not developmentally slow in any means. No.
But autism is considered a developmental disability.
It's considered a neurological disability.
No, it affects all aspects of development. My son is autistic, so
okay. Do you believe that your son could be manipulated into murdering somebody?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Why? And how? And where is your son at on the spectrum?
He's high functioning.
He's high functioning. Why do you think that could happen?
Because they're vulnerable.
Because you're actually the first one that we've talked to that has said that.
I think anyone that has autism can be manipulated because they're vulnerable.
Whoa.
The discrepancies in Gypsy's stories have changed so many times. It's impossible for me to really state like the discrepancies.
It's the irony for me.
I gotta go, you guys. I've been on live way too long. Thank you so much to all of you that have been on here and like shots fired. I gotta go. I swear, just follow me here. I'm not trying to make money. I'll probably end this live. And you know what TikTok will tell me? That I made 32 cents. That's what TikTok will tell me. You made 32 cents. And then all you Gypsy like supporters can be like, she monetized Gypsy. And I'll be like, yeah, that 32 cents I made, I'm going to donate it to Make-A-Wish. Are you going to donate any of your money back to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Gyp? All right, you guys, good night. Thanks for the 32 cents, everyone.
So that was without a crystal ball versus without a crystal ball. So I've posted the link in there. Make sure that you go and say hello and subscribe, because that's pretty amazing, isn't it? Right. Just one more thing before I go. Was this from another live? There's been so many lives, I can't keep up. This has been clipped. Yes, there is this. This one.
I had back pain. You guys are ridiculous. I was so stressed. I was working full time. I had back pain. I was like, my discs were herniated. I was constantly puking. No, you shouldn't stress anyone who's pregnant. That's ridiculous. Stress does not cause miscarriages. Like, I was so stressed out with my son, and yeah. Stress does not cause miscarriages. Like, I was so stressed out with my son, and
I'm wondering, it's funny when she says that, someone says I was very stressed with both pregnancies, and I'm wondering whether she's actually read it.
So stressed out with my son, and yeah.
It's just very
like, I was so stressed out with my son, and yeah. So you guys.
So the question is, did she slip up, or do you think it is a possibility that she did? I don't know. That there was another child at some point in time. I'm thinking she was reading the question and it slipped out, but that's, again, I just not sure. I don't know, but gee, it's a big slip of the tongue. And I'm sort of thinking, I'm sure she would have told everybody by now for sympathy. So I don't know. But anyway, all right, I'm going to head off now. Thank you for watching. I'm hoping to be on tomorrow. It is nearly tomorrow. And I will catch you all again hopefully tomorrow. And yeah, hit the like button. As I said, I'm not monetized. There is different ways that you can support. The Patreon is one way. PayPal's another. If you're interested, you don't have to, but just look. If I can get into the algorithm and get views and everything, they may decide that I'm worth money. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you, and I will catch you again next time. Bye for now.